In this example, I'm going to factor the trinomial 8x squared plus 6x minus 9, and I'm going to use trial and error method, or guess and check. There's another video that shows how to do this using the AC method. So the numbers here are not that complicated. It's the same example I used for the AC method to compare. So the numbers are not too complicated. Both of them work pretty nicely. The idea, remember that when you want to factor, the goal is that we want to have at the end this trinomial written as a product of two binomials, right? Where I know one of these signs will be a plus and one of them will be a minus because of this negative here, right? This you obtain. Remember that if you obtain this number, this third term, when you multiply the terms over here, the entry here with the entry here. So I know they're going to be opposite signs. Okay, so other thing that I know is that I obtained this first term, the 8x squared. You obtain it by multiplying whatever will be in this box times this box, because you're going to have the x's on these boxes. So you have two options for this. Your only options are, I'm going to try to write it here. Your options are to have eight x and x, correct? And your option is to also have or 4x and a 2x. We don't know before we start which one is going to work. But the other thing you know is that for the numbers you're going to write on the other entries right here, you choose this number, this color. Whatever you're going to write here, when you multiply this box times this box, that's how you're going to get the negative 9. So the negative 9, you can get it in basically two ways. Either plus or minus 1 times a plus or minus 9, right? Or opposite signs here, right? And or a 3 and a 3. And again, change signs, right? This could be plus or minus 3. One has to be positive, one has to be negative. So either plus 1 and negative 9, or negative 1 and positive 9, or positive. This doesn't matter, these are symmetric, so whatever you do. So now you have to just start trying, right? These are my only options. So you start putting these numbers in here. One thing that you're going to get up to know very easily is that these ones are going to start getting very big. For example, if I put a plus there and a 9 here, this is not going to work because the middle term, although the first term works, right, you get the 8x squared. The last term works, you get a negative 9. The middle term is not going to work because when you start multiplying these cross terms to get the middle term, you're going to get 8 times negative 9, you're going to get negative 72x's and plus x, so you just get negative 71x, and that's way more than your 6x. So you kind of know that these are not going to work, and the 8 and a little more argument will tell you that these are too big in any case. So let's start putting the 3 in the negative 3. So the 3 and the negative 3, after a while, you realize that these are still too big for these. If you start putting the 3 here and the negative 3 there, you're going to get the cross product. This gives you a negative 24x. This gives you a plus 3x. It's still too big. That's like a 21x. So it doesn't matter if you put them backwards. If you put now the plus here and the minus 1 here, they're still too big. You're going to get 24x minus 3x. Right? Now this is positive and this is negative. So it didn't make a big difference. You're still not correct. So you kind of can say, oh, these are too big. I'm not going to use those. This pair should work. And maybe you notice that sooner, right? And you don't have to spend too much time on this. So you start trying 3 and negative 3. So over here, you only have two options. It's either going to be plus 3 here or minus 3 there, or backwards. So if you do it like this, you're going to see that you have to do it. This gives you negative 12x. and this gives you 6x. This has the opposite sign of what we want. This gives me a negative 6x, so this doesn't work. So let's do the last one. Of course, I left the correct answer for my last try. So the correct way is going to be to do this. Let me go back to yellow. I'm going to do, the correct answer is going to be 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 3. And you always check. So 4x times 2x gives you the 8x squared. 4x times 3 gives you the 12x. 3 times this gives you a negative 6x. And the last term gives you a negative 9. So when you combine these two terms, you get the middle 6x squared, 6x that we were looking for. So this is our answer, right? This is the correct factorization. There's no better way to get better at this by practicing. I did almost checked all the possibilities, but if you do more practice, you develop some intuition of which one's numbers would work and which would not work. So if you rather have like a straightforward recipe to do that will always work, the AC method would work. It's a little bit of more work, but it's more like organized. And although there's some organization here, it's easy to get lost in what to work and what is the argument to why it doesn't and why it doesn't work. You get better with practice. Okay, so this is a factoring with guess and check.